Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ernest and Ralph proudly bring to you what we love the most. And that is talking about professional sports. ER Sports Squad, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm chilling, my man. Ready to do this, bro.
I'm ready to do this, man. I'm ready to get into a hot topic. This is a guy I've been wanting to talk about for a while. One of my favorite players in the NBA. We are talking today about Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Butler. Guys, as we know, Jimmy Butler is one of the hottest players in the NBA. Been doing a little bit of traveling lately. Has been with 3 teams in the last 3 years.
Yeah, man.
As we know, he opted out of his player option with the Philadelphia 76ers, so he's now an unrestricted free agent. And right now, the major talks are going on to re-sign with his current team, possibly the Philadelphia 76ers, going back with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. But there is so much talks going on about a possible trade with the Houston Rockets as well. Brother, I want to ask you, man, first and foremost, let's get into it. What are your thoughts about this?
My man, honestly, well, for starters for Philadelphia, obviously we saw the works of it this year.
Yeah.
We saw how he blended in with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and that whole squad. And really, my man, who knows? Had Kawhi Leonard never hit that shot from the three-pointer in the corner, man, who knows what would have happened?
Yeah.
For all I know, it would have been Philadelphia moving on in that series and maybe even moving on to the NBA Finals. Who knows what would have happened from there? But all it takes is one shot, my man.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this, man. There's a lot of reports going on that are saying that maybe he wasn't so happy being the third fiddle. You know, his numbers did go a little bit down. He averaged about 18.3 points, 5.5 rebounds, 4 assists, which are really, really good numbers in the NBA. But it does diminish from what he's done before. He averages normally about 23 to 24 points a game. Same amount of rebounds and assists, so his scoring went down a little bit. So there's a little bit of reports of that. But honestly, bro, you just mentioned it. Had Kawhi not hit that shot and Philly had won, they would have advanced to the Eastern Finals. So we've seen in the past when players go through stuff like that, it pushes them. It pushes them. They want to win. They want to go to that next step. Now, here's the thing, bro. Jimmy might be willing to come back to Philadelphia, but is Philly willing to give him the max? I believe they are. I believe why not? But, there's kind of rumors fluttering around that they might be open to trading him somewhere else.
Well, I know one team's willing to give him that max. That's the Houston Rockets. That's the report right now. So this is what we're standing right now. So obviously Philadelphia does want him back. Yeah. However, we're hearing reports that Philadelphia is scheduling a meeting with Kawhi Leonard, which I said in one of my previous videos that I seriously doubt that Kawhi Leonard will give any serious consideration to Philadelphia. Exactly. But it's not going to stop Philadelphia from going ahead and sitting down with him. But it's a really tricky slope because here's Houston right now. If you're Jimmy Butler, you sit back. All right, Houston right now is on record in the public saying, we want you. We want you part of this Houston team. We want to put you alongside James Harden because we know we can do something special. We're out there. We're going public. We're putting players on the trade block. Clint Capella, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. We're trying to clear space because we want you. And here's Philadelphia scheduling an interview with Kawhi Leonard. So it can get very tricky. So if I'm Philadelphia, even though you're going to pay your due diligence and you have to go ahead and see the possibility of getting a player like, if you have the opportunity to get a guy like Kawhi Leonard, of course, my man, you always go for it. Do you risk losing Jimmy Butler to get an NBA champion like Kawhi Leonard? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I will still not close communication with him. I will keep close ties, close communication with him. And if I'm Philadelphia, I'm telling Jimmy Butler, yo, Jimmy, you're still our guy. Yeah. We're trying to develop something, but at the same time, we're crossing our T's, we're dotting our I's. Our eyes are still on you. So it's really how Jimmy Butler portrays it right now and how he sees it from his side.
Absolutely, man.
But if it comes to appreciation, when it comes to being wanted, Houston right now, my man, would be that team.
And honestly, Jimmy would get them to that next level because, as we know, Philly, they're gonna aggressively shop hard to bring back either Jimmy or go after Kawhi because, as we all know, 2020 is gonna be open for the NBA.
Exactly.
A new champion is going to be crowned. As we saw the Toronto Raptors do their thing, but as we all know, the Golden State Warriors...
Well, let's not rule out Toronto.
Yeah, no, let's not rule them out. But as we know, with Durant, with Thompson, with Curry, with Draymond, Golden State is the favorite. As of 2020, they're not all going to be together. As of the injuries that we see, so there's going to be a new champion crowned. So if Philadelphia is going to do anything, they got to do it right now. So I get why they're doing that sign and trade. Or they're trying to flirt with that sign and trade to go after Kawhi. Now, one thing that I've been hearing which I don't agree with. I love Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
I love him because of his intensity. I love him because he's a guy that wants to win. He came from nothing. He was a scrub in Chicago. He busted his ass and became one of the best players. He's full of intensity. There's all these talks about him being a locker room cancer. That's the reason why he's been to 3 teams in 3 years. And if he goes to another team this year, it'll be 4 teams in 4 years. I don't believe any of that bull. What I believe is that this is the way that the NBA player is today. These are millennials we're talking about. Millennials, what are they known for? Changing their mind so many times. You've seen that with the way these guys play. Look at our era when we were kids. Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone.
Well, we're not going to put Jimmy Butler.
No, but I'm talking about when they did business. They didn't go to a bunch of teams. They stayed with their team. When they were drafted, they stayed there because that's the way things were done back then. These new players, they go off of emotion. I think Jimmy is just trying to find the perfect spot for himself. And he's kind of put himself in a situation where the cards aren't really on his table because he doesn't have a lot of options.
So let's talk about that part. Jimmy Butler trying to find a place for him. I think Jimmy Butler has a perception of himself, Randy, where he feels he's this type of player. Remember, he never demanded a trade out of Chicago. Let's go all the way back when he was in Chicago. Chicago did not feel he was that type of player to get them to the next level.
Exactly.
That's why they went ahead before his max level contract was due up, his supermax. That's why they traded him away to get Lauri Markkanen, to get Zach LaVine, to get the piece they got from Minnesota, because they just didn't feel he was that type of player that was worth the supermax, number one, and number two, that player that could get them to the next level. That's where they traded from Chicago. Going to Minnesota, they maxed out Karl-Anthony Towns. Duh, you do that. Cat's a big time guy.
Of course.
And then you maxed out Andrew Wiggins. So here's Jimmy Butler saying, okay, so where's all this? So you max out Cat, you max out Andrew Wiggins, but where's this money for me? The money was never offered.
Exactly.
Demanded a trade, got traded to Philadelphia, and here we are right now. And here's the question: is Philadelphia going to offer that max contract? We don't know. So I think we're in a situation where Jimmy Butler has this perception about the type of player that he is, and there's other teams around the area where they perceive him to be the type of player they believe that he is. And bottom line is this, my man, Jimmy Butler in his eyes, he's a 1A. And a lot of teams out there, my man, he's at best a 1B, but actually more like a 2A.
Well, let's be honest. When you're an NBA player getting into your 30s and you have not won an NBA title, your brain needs to change. You need to change. You need to start thinking differently. You need to either start thinking, okay, am I going to pack my money or am I going to try to win? Jimmy seems like a winner, but he also wants to get his money. So that's why this sign and trade might be the best offer for him, might be the best option for him, excuse me. If he goes to Houston, dude, with Chris Paul and James Harden, if they can get those trio together, get their heads in the same mindset, with Golden State not being the team they're going to be next year, I easily see Houston becoming a threat, dude. Jimmy is the perfect complement to James Harden, I feel. The way Jimmy plays defense, he can be a solid number 2 on that team. Bro, I think Houston's a great fit for him.
No, yeah, absolutely. Especially playing alongside James Harden. You know James Harden can distribute the basketball. And the talk is Chris Paul's going to stay in town. So you're talking about a potential big three of Chris Paul, James Harden, and Jimmy Butler. How they all fit together once we're on the court is a different story. But at least in a team like Houston, he will be playing in a contender and playing alongside guy James Harden that he knows will be the number one. And obviously if Jimmy Butler goes to Houston, he's going there with an open mind saying, you know, I know I'm not the number one. I know I'm not the best player in this team. So I'm not coming to Houston to be the best player in Houston. I'm coming to Houston to be that piece that they were missing to put them all to win the NBA championship. How important that is to him, as opposed to winning an NBA championship and being the best player of a team, that's determined, and that's where.
Yeah, and honestly, bro, I see him as a great fit with Houston because with Chris Paul, like I mentioned earlier, the intensity level. Chris Paul is that type of guy that he could be your friend, but when they're playing out there, they yell in each other's faces, they get in each other's back, but at the end of the day, they're still friends. I mean, I feel that Chris Paul would love Jimmy's intensity. He would embrace it in that team, and Jimmy would feel open. Jimmy's from Texas, by the way. He's also from Texas, so he'd go back home. That's another benefit, and the state of Texas does not have state income tax. So that's another benefit of Jimmy Butler going to Houston. Now, let me ask you this, bro. We went over Philadelphia. Obviously, if he re-signed with Philadelphia, nobody would hate on him about that. He's getting max level money, and Philadelphia is a contender in the East. If he gets traded to Houston, that's another great fit. We know that with Jimmy, Paul, and Harden in the West Coast, that's a contender for the West. Now, my question to you, brother, Houston. We know that they can offer Gordon, PJ Tucker, Clint Capella. They have some draft picks. Realistically, you think Houston can make a really good offer for Jimmy Butler?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So, my follow-up question after that, because we've only talked about Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Houston can clear the cap space.
They could clear the cap space.
Philadelphia, like, here's to close this out, guys. Because Philadelphia can say this, okay, let's say Jimmy Butler doesn't want to come back to Philadelphia. And he goes, okay, I want to go ahead, I want to leave, but I want you to sign and trade me to Houston. So at least guys can go ahead and
so they can get something out of it.
But if I'm Philadelphia, okay, I can go ahead and trade you, get a PJ Tucker, get a Eric Gordon in return. Or I just say, you know what? No, it's okay. Go ahead and move on. We'd rather preserve that cap space and go after other free agents. That's why I don't see Houston as a very likely scenario, because for Houston to make it happen, they'd have to either go ahead and do a sign trade with Philadelphia, which I don't believe is actually going to be able to happen. The only way I do see it happening is if Houston's able to unload some of their contracts, either Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, or Capella, and then they can go ahead and do some type of sign and trade where Philadelphia will pick up some additional draft picks and take on a huge trade exception where they can go ahead and apply that to another player.
Okay. Well, we've only talked about Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's like 29 other NBA teams out there. Let me ask you this, man. I mean, I know there's not a lot of reports, but we always throw in your wild card every video. Anybody out there, any team, any sleepers you feel that could realistically make a good deal for Jimmy Butler?
Who can make a good deal for Jimmy Butler? I mean, you can talk about free agency all you want, my man, but if Philadelphia is accepting of the fact that they're going to lose Jimmy Butler and they don't want to lose him for nothing, and they rather say and go, you know what, Jimmy, we don't want to lose you for nothing. You want your 5th year? Let's go ahead and find you a team where we can go ahead and sign and trade you and get some assets in return. How about 305?
Yeah!
So guys, so before we
305!
before we start the parade,
I agree.
So
I agree.
Let's talk about a year ago. We know that the interest was mutual with Jimmy Butler. We knew that Jimmy Butler wanted to come to Miami.
Yeah.
We know that Jimmy Butler, how he feels about Pat Riley, how he feels about Spoelstra, this whole organization, and the 305 and living in South Beach. What a sacrifice, right?
No state income tax.
And no state income tax. He made that about Houston. And I think Miami, no disrespect to Houston, guys, but Miami, nice sightseeing. So anyway.
Women.
No, I'm sure Houston has women too, right? But anyway, so bottom line, guys. So I feel that Miami Heat would be my wild card over here, my man. And I was reluctant to say it, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. You look at Miami Heat, the situation they're in right now. We know the cap situation. We're not in the ability to go out there and chase any free agents or anything like that. This team that we have right now is the perfect team that you want to put out, and not a superstar, but a potential perennial all-star caliber player.
We're filled with B players.
So let's be real about it. Jimmy Butler, is he a superstar that's going to lead you to an NBA championship? No. Is he an all-star caliber player? Absolutely. Is he a star in this league? Absolutely. Can he drop buckets? Absolutely. And he's made it clear in the past, this is a team that he would be more than happy to sign long-term with and to play with. And we do have some pieces that we can dangle out there. So if you're looking at Philadelphia, Philadelphia's going to lose them for nothing. Yeah, we mentioned about Houston, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. It's not the situation with Miami, my man. If you look at Miami has the ability to say, okay, you know what? I'll tell you what. You're going to use Jimmy Butler for nothing. Maybe we can offer you a Goran Dragic. You know, maybe a Goran Dragic, you can slide right in there at that guard or 2-guard position. Remember, JJ Redick is a free agent. You can slide Dragic right in there, and he could be an integral piece to that Philadelphia team.
Definitely.
Or maybe let's go ahead. Maybe Philadelphia doesn't want to bring back that much money. Maybe Philadelphia says, no, we prefer to take a little bit less money and everything. Maybe you could throw in a guy like Dion Waiters.
Yeah.
Dion Waiters, who could be that shooting guard to come off the bench and everything, or at some point even start a couple of games for them. And you know what, my man, depending on how Miami is all in on this, my man, we could revisit what Minnesota's going to get. Josh Richardson.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan, and I'm not a person that I say, you know what, we should go ahead and trade Jay Rich. But if I'm in the Miami Heat, my man, and I'm saying, okay, you know what, the team is what it is. We got what we got. I would say, you know what, maybe it is that time to go ahead and say, you know what, Jay Rich, we're shipping you out to Philadelphia, and we're bringing in Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Philadelphia, if I'm losing Jimmy Butler and I want to trade him, I want the best offer. And what you're mentioning, I think Miami might have the better pieces.
No, and Jay Rich can slide right into that Jimmy Butler
because
role.
Philly's in win now mode. They're not trying to
Absolutely.
build for the future. They're trying to win. So if you're losing Jimmy Butler, you need a great number 3, and Josh Richardson can be perfect.
And then hopefully the perfect world, coach will want to keep Jay Rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Maybe we can go
definitely.
ahead. We can offer a Justice Winslow.
Yeah.
With a package involving Kelly Olynyk and things like that.
I mean, what Minnesota agreed to was Josh Richardson, Kelly Olynyk, and a first-round pick.
Exactly.
So I'm sure that'll be the range of what they're looking for: 2 starters and a future
And
draft.
now remember, so Pat Riley's thinking will be, okay, we're bringing in a star, an all-star caliber player in Jimmy Butler. Now in 2020, when we transition, whoever we give up, that's more salary cap relief we're getting, even though we're bringing them in Jimmy Butler. But remember, in 2020, Dragic and Whiteside both come off the books.
Yup.
So that's a total of about almost $50 million is going to come off the cap, which will give us ability to go ahead and pursue other free agents in 2020 and put a better team around.
Yeah.
With the young group that we have, with a Bam Adebayo, with also a Tyler Hero that we just drafted just now. You know what I'm saying? And potentially either Justice Winslow or whoever else we keep as well. So I think the Miami Heat is a definitely interesting wild card. It might not be the most popular one people think, my man, but you know what? It will bring Jimmy Buckets right to the 3 or 5, and he would be the man.
I like it. So
I knew you would.
Oh yeah, definitely. ER Sports Squad, it's your turn. We want to hear from you guys. Hit us in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Do you think there's any other teams that has a legit shot at Jimmy Butler? I know there's a bunch of teams with cap space. We didn't want to go over them because we talked about them in other videos. We wanted to talk about the real teams that were rumored to go after Jimmy Butler. But maybe there's another team we didn't talk about. The Nets. There's the Knicks. There's the Clippers. You guys let us know what you think. Also, we really need your help building ER Sports to what we're trying to get. We have another facility, our second facility. We're trying to upgrade to more. We need your help. How can you help us? Hit that subscribe button. Like, share on social media. More importantly, I said it already, but bro, tell them one more time what they can do.
Hit that subscribe button.
And you already know. ER Sports Squad, thank you so much for the love and support. And until next time.
We'll pack out.
And that's enough said.